If you've seen fresh fava beans in your local farmer's market or grocery store, but you're wondering, what do I do with these? How do I make them? We're going to tell you exactly how to make them and why you are going to love them.
I'm gonna call her the fava bean expert for no reason.
Welcome to my garden, everybody.
Beauty.
We're on a journey in, and we're going to pick some fava beans. So this is what they look like while they're growing. I will let you know, they take a while to grow. You got to plant them in the fall.
Oh!
They're like garlic.
Weird. I just so was not expecting that.
Yeah, they're a cool weather crop. So you plant them in the fall. They hang out underneath the soil all winter long. They're one of the first things up in the spring.
Cool. Do they have pretty flowers?
They do have very pretty flowers.
Beans do.
I wish I could have shown you guys the flowers, but by the time that they're ready to pick, all the flowers are gone. The flower is what the pod...
That's like everything.
The pod is what the flower... What?
Someone's having a little trouble here.
The flower turns into the pod where the beans grow. Okay?
That's like everything.
Yes.
The flower is what is happening?
Are we drunk? What time is it?
Okay, we get it. There's a flower that grows. Fruit or veg comes after that.
There's a pod.
Dear goodness.
It's the end. Okay. This is what the pod looks like. They're big, they're meaty. You'll know they're ready to be picked when they're starting to bulge out of the pod a little bit. So these take up a lot of room in the garden, and they're kind of annoying because you don't get that many beans at the end of it. So I love to grow them because they're such a delicacy for me. I look forward to having them every single summer.
Can you bite through the pod?
No, it's extremely fibrous.
Sometimes I still will try.
No,
I
you
feel
can't.
like so you can't. It doesn't taste good in any way. Like I'm not
No.
talking about fibrous. I'm talking about flavor-wise.
Not even close.
All right.
It doesn't. It's super, super fibrous. So now you got to find yourself a cozy little spot and get a knife and open up each pod.
Just start shelling.
It's extremely labor intensive, and that is why fava beans tend to cost a little bit more compared to like sweet peas or regular green beans, because they are so labor intensive. So
I get that though. If something takes a lot of effort like this, like look at how long this is taking.
But that's not even it.
That's gonna cost a pretty penny.
That's not even it though. You're taking all the little beans out.
Don't tell me that you're doing the skins on the actual
You have
beans.
to.
What?
No, you absolutely have to.
I was not
so
thinking
watch.
that.
Here's what they look like when they come out of the pod.
Beautiful color.
And aren't they? It's a nice pale green, but they're in yet another outer coating that you cannot eat.
Too much.
So you blanch them for a minute. You got some boiling water here. You throw them in literally just 1 minute. Let them do their thing.
Do the skins start to come loose?
They do.
Okay, so then it's not super hard to take them off then.
No.
But still, you still gotta like take the time, go through the extra step, get the hands in there.
You got to put them in an ice bath, cool those down a tiny little bit, swish them around with your
How
fingers.
many pods was this, do you think?
This was about 2 pounds. So each pound of fava beans
That's it?
renders down to about 1 cup of the actual beans that you're going to eat.
No wonder they are expensive. I get it.
I totally get it. So see, you open up the pod and look at that vibrant green color.
Okay, that's even, it went from like pretty bush, pretty
plant.
pretty plant,
Yes.
pretty pod,
Yep.
and then pretty bean, and then what's in there?
Look at the inner bean.
Gorgeous.
So that outer shell is very waxy. It's very fibrous. It's inedible. Even if you're like, oh, I like fiber, like lupini beans, I eat the outside, because I know you do. It's not the same. They're extremely
I do
waxy.
love my fibrous beans.
But you can't eat those. They taste like if you were trying to chew up a candle. It's very, very waxy.
Okay, all right, then no.
Okay, so this is my favorite way to prepare fava beans. You're gonna take your beans now. Look at how beautiful they are. All the work is done. If you're not sick of these,
a lot of work though for that little bit.
if you're not sick of these by now, then just
You're like, are
stick
you
with
even
me.
wanting to eat them after all that?
I am.
You have like resentment towards them. You're like, I don't even want to eat this anymore.
So get your Ninja Woodfire fired up to you're using the grill function. And I like to give myself a little extra time, just because if not, the grill just shuts off. And then you just have
Learned
to
that lesson a time or two.
start it again.
Or 3 or 4.
Yeah. So this is like a dump and stir. We've got some green onion in here going into a bowl with our fava beans. A lot of garlic.
Okay, that is a lot.
These are super garlicky, like ridiculously garlicky. I like these to be on the spicy side because just like any other bean, they're fairly neutral. They have a nice creamy texture to them, but not a ton of flavor. Very like vegetal type flavor. You want to flavor them by adding all sorts of delicious flavors. Stir them up, get them really
So you're telling
coated.
me you couldn't use a different kind of bean in there? That doesn't take all this time and effort.
You could, but it's not the same.
Even peas.
Yeah. And
Peas
you could, and
would
I
be good
have.
with that.
but they have a very specific texture and they're very high in nutrients.
And I do like things that sometimes like this is more of like a treat.
Yes.
Are you going to enjoy this throughout the year? Absolutely not. Because of the growing process, because of the shucking process. That's not right, but the shelling process. But if you're only doing that, if you're only enjoying these once in a while, I think it's something to look forward to.
Thank you.
That's panettone at Christmas. You ain't eating that all the time. I don't want to eat that all the time, but at Christmas, you better believe I'm eating that.
Me too, and this is my favorite thing to have once a year. I make this exact dish with maybe some slight variations once a year and enjoy Fava.
Barbecue Pops' bread?
No, this is just a regular baguette.
Okay.
I wish it was Barbecue Pops' bread.
Yeah, because that would
be
take
1,000
it to the
times
next
better.
level.
But I like using a small container on the wood fire because then I have the other side, since I am using the grill function, and this is a fairly fast recipe, I can grill the bread while the fava beans are cooking. And
Genius.
Since they're already cooked, since when you blanch them, they are cooked on the inside, these don't take a ton of time.
Did you add the smoke function? I missed it.
No, I did not want to add the smoke function.
And I feel like if you added the smoke function here, it might be too strong of a flavor and it might take away from the delicate flavor that they're already delicate, it sounds like.
Yeah, you definitely could add it, but I just wasn't in the mood. I wanted to really taste those beans after all that work. So I'm taking the bread off, letting these go for a little while longer. The smells,
oh my goodness,
emanating.
You put like 8 heads of garlic in there. So
I don't know about you guys, but I can't get enough garlic. So now we're gonna go in with a little bit of lemon zest and juice.
Ooh.
If you want the full
basil.
recipe, you know where to find it.
Loving it.
Tons of basil.
I like that you put the basil in at the end. You're not gonna be cooking the basil doesn't need to be cooked like far in advance. You still want that fresh basil flavor.
Absolutely.
Ooh, what do we got here?
Now, this is a plant-based ricotta that I made. I can show you guys how to make this if anybody is interested. Please let us know in the comments if you want me to show you how to make my plant-based ricotta.
I'm letting you know right now, not in the comments.
It's phenomenal.
Right in front of face-to-face here.
This is a comment. It's phenomenal, and it goes so well on a crostini like this. I love it in the summertime. It's made out of tofu. If you're like, I don't like tofu, you will love this because it tastes so similar to ricotta. You could trick a lot of people with it.
Now, why is there only this amount?
What do you mean?
Because I feel like I would want to eat like 8 million of these.
Okay, so the thing is these are this is the type of dish that is best when it's made fresh. So you only want to make however you want to eat at that given moment.
We're all for yours.
Yeah, that was my lunch.
Okay, fine. Yeah, because that's a meal.
That's a meal. I'm like in heaven here.
What flavors? Give me the flavor. I need to know, what is it like?
It's garlicky. It's spicy.
Texture-wise, velvety or
very
like crisp?
Creamy.
Ooh.
But it's weird because these beans have like a bit of a chew to them. If you're a bean connoisseur like I am, you know your beans. And it's not
like, is it more like of a dried bean texture or like, because canned beans, they're all I love a canned bean, but they're all very mushy.
And that's a great point because fava beans come canned and they're like night and day difference to what these are. They're brown. If you've seen them, you're like, how is this the same thing?
Don't be hating on canned favas.
And I'm not.
They're absolutely incredible.
They're great, but they do have that canned mushy texture.
Yeah.
These ones do have more of a bite. They are very similar to if you were to dry beans, to use dry beans that you've rehydrated yourself. Because they do have some chew to them, but they have such an incredible texture. It's like chewy a little bit, but also buttery.
Ooh.
And I love adding a lot of chilies because just that combination of garlic and chilies with the lemon and the basil.
I would have doubled the amount of chilies. There ain't enough in there.
They were still pretty spicy.
Were they?
I use Calabrian chilies. They are so great for summertime. So now if you have seen fava beans at your local farmer's market and you're like, why would I be paying so much money for this like weird bag of beans here?
Exactly. Now we all get it.
You get it. And you're going to want to make these.